What's up everyone? John Rettinger from TechnoBuffalo here. The holidays are good for more than family, hot chocolate, gift giving, gift receiving. They're also an awesome time for gadget rumors. And we've got a doozy of a rumor roundup for you today, and I say we, but it's really just me, because I'm the only one sitting here with my serious glasses on. Let's talk about iPad 2 and when this guy is going to become obsolete. Last gen technology. I've got a full rundown of all the rumors and sort of what's to be expected for the next generation iPad. So let's get started. Alright, so let's start with the obvious duh. Of course this is going to be in the next gen iPad. Cameras. Count them, 2 of them. We've seen rumors and reports from a variety of sources, including just recently routers, not sure the best way to pronounce it, there seems to be some discrepancy, has jumped on board saying that there will indeed be 2 cameras, a front and a rear one. Barron's has said that OmniVision is going to be the provider for both cameras. The back one, 5 megapixels, on the front, VGA, and it'll of course be able to take advantage of FaceTime, which seems a natural addition to the iPad. It's a mobile computer people taking with them really wherever they go, and being able to talk to folks certainly would be a nice addition, and it would make FaceTime a ubiquitous technology across Apple's mobile products, or at least the iOS-enabled mobile products. So the first one in the duh category, 2 cameras will be there. Let's talk about what you're going to look at with these cameras and the screen. Apple really pioneered some of the high-resolution displays. They still have the highest resolution display on the iPhone 4 with the Retina Display and the iPod Touch. There's been a lot of rumors about a Retina Display, which is really just fancy Apple jargon for high-res screen making its way to the iPad. So the current resolution of the iPad screen, it's a 9.7-inch screen, is 1024 by 768. Now certainly we will see a higher resolution. Whether or not you want to call it HD or not is really yet to be seen, but we will see a higher pixel density and it'll just look a little bit better and crisper. So look for a high resolution screen that I'm sure Apple's marketing department will call something crazy and people will go nuts for, but high resolution screen will be there. Alright, so let's talk about form factor. Is it going to look like this? Also, remember when rumors thought the iPad was going to be called the iSlate? I still think the iSlate would have been a much better name than the iPad, which still kind of makes me giggle to say. So it seems like the best way for case manufacturers to get exposure is to make a case for a product that doesn't yet exist. And that is the case for the iPad 2. Get it? Case for the iPad 2. Because we are starting to see case leaks coming out left and right showing a ton of new features. So first, and this is a feature that was rumored to have been included in the first generation iPad but was removed at the last minute, 2 dock connectors. So one on the bottom and one on the side. So if you want to use a keyboard attachment or whatever you'd like to use, you can actually have it in both orientations, landscape and portrait. Certainly that would be a welcome addition to the iPad. Apple sells a dock connector with an external keyboard. You can only use it in portrait, becomes quite annoying. Certainly might want to use it like in the landscape mode. Also, certainly you can use Bluetooth keyboards as well if you don't want to pony up for Apple's potentially overpriced accessories. One of the sort of novelties that we're seeing in these case releases, and if these case releases are to be believed, is an extra slot or hole next to the bottom dock connector, which is presumably going to be for an SD card, which kind of is interesting. You know, Apple currently sells a camera connection kit where you can pop in an SD card from your camera, put it into the accessory 30-pin connector on the bottom of the iPad, and you can import your pictures. Having that integrated would be kind of interesting. Also might be the potentiality to have another type of charging port, perhaps micro USB port rather. There's been a lot of buzz, especially in the European Union, about standardizing power adapters, and Apple's certainly been one of the companies that has been most reticent to do that, but it looks like there is going to be governmental pressure to sort of unify a power adapter, so perhaps we'll see a 30-pin and a micro USB connector. Although my smart money I think is going to be on there being some sort of expansion micro SD card slot or a regular size SD card slot. Now, whether or not that's going to be used for expandable storage, so whether or not you can pick up a 16 gig iPad and up that to 32 gig with the card, that seems iffy. It doesn't necessarily go in line with Apple's model that we've seen in the past. But Apple has done things that have been different, and they certainly have to start somewhere to make a change. So we very well may see expandable storage, which would be really nice and certainly would give customers a bit of flexibility with their devices, and would probably limit the ability to charge extravagant amounts for flash storage to up yourself to 32 and 64 built in, when you can just go pick up presumably a high capacity SD card slot, pop that sucker in, and you're good to go. So what about what's going to power these things? The first time we saw Apple's system-on-a-chip A4 was in the iPad. We will presumably see an update to that i4 chip. Clock speed right now is at 1 gigahertz. A natural sort of thought progression would be that we'll see 1.5 gigahertz, possibly 1.2 or more. One of the things about Apple products, they control, it's called vertical integration. They control the hardware and they control the software on the devices. So while they might not have an edge in the power department when it comes to processors, especially next generation, the fact that they can optimize the software to utilize the most that those processors can do generally makes for a faster experience. So think iPad now, but think a little bit faster, probably see a bit more RAM thrown in there for good measure. So when are we going to see this rumored iPad 2, which undoubtedly is coming? Well, the first iPad was released in April, and it's looking like iPad 2 will follow suit with an April release. Production is presumably, saying that a lot, presumably, supposed to start, because we are presuming quite a bit, supposed to start in February, so they'll sort of produce a ton, stockpile them, and get ready to ship them out and have a wide release in April. So we'll probably see some sort of press conference about 3 or 4 weeks before April. So sometime in the perhaps end of February, early March timeframe is when we can expect an announcement for the iPad 2. So what does this mean for the holidays? Perhaps the iPad is going to be gifted quite a bit. Don't worry about getting antiquated technology. Certainly it's the nature of the tech beast. But you can always give a nice big fat IOU if you want to give somebody a new iPad, and you can wait to give it to them in April. So what do you think about these iPad 2 rumors? Are you excited, not excited? Personally, I think the biggest one and the most needed feature on the iPad 2 is going to be the addition of cameras, which should have been there from the get-go and really was a glaring feature omission. High resolution screen will be nice, faster processor will be nice, expansion card slot would be kind of cool, but just be able to have a camera on there. There's been a lot of times when I'm out with my iPad and I want to capture something or I want to send a video to someone, I just can't do it, and I really think it hinders the experience of having a very capable device. So guys, that's it. I'm John Rettinger from TechnoBuffalo with my iPad 2 recap, rumors, and what have you. Leave the comments down below if you agree, disagree, or what feature you think I might have missed out that you've heard might be in there. I'll see you, or talk to you rather, in the next video. Bye-bye.